I remember being your age, hormones running wild, and you should know these feelings you're having for your classmates, they are totally disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Being the one leading this. My goodness. In 1983, a working-class welder at a steel mill rose above the expectations placed on her and gained entrance to the Pittsburgh Conservatory of Dance and Music by blending classical dance with the breakdancing flair of her streets. In 1984, Kevin Bacon used the power of rock and roll to teach a small Midwest town that dancing is not a crime. In 1987, Patrick Swayze said nobody puts baby in a corner and challenged class constructs through dance at a sleepy resort in the Catskills. And in 1988, Mr. Puerto Rico used the power of salsa to accomplish none of these things. On the contrary, he spends the majority of the movie literally putting baby in the corner, but we'll get to that. Our hero, Rico, only likes two things: Rico and salsa. He spends his hot Los Angeles summer nights dancing at the La Luna Club with his on-again, off-again girlfriend Vicky, and making a name for himself with his charisma and passion for the salsa dance form. He spends his days earning a living at a repair shop, taking over literal patriarchal duties for his family, who lost their father, and trying to sleep with his little sister's friend. Rico's just trying to live one day at a time and have fun doing it until he's presented with an opportunity. In 1 week's time at the La Luna Club, anyone who can clear the floor wins a trip to the Grand Salsa competition in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Rico has always dreamed of going to Puerto Rico, ever since he was a little kid and his dad would say, "Rico, I'm gonna take you to Puerto Rico," and then he died. The stakes have literally never been lower. Rico will have to put everything on the line, including sacrificing his partnership with Vicky in order to team up with the owner of the club, Luna, who promises she can take Rico to victory if he's her ticket to dancing again. Who is judging the contest if not the owner of the club? Well, that's not very clear. He'll also be distracted by his little sister's blooming sexuality and her newfound romance with Rico's best friend Ken, testing everything Rico knows about the concept of the familia. How can one free spirit dance with all these distractions? Writer-director Boaz Davidson intends to take us on that admittedly not very long journey. So today on Video High, join us for a movie that somehow conned musical legends such as Wilkins, Celia Cruz, and Tito freaking Puente to appear in it. Join us for a movie choreographed by the future Mr. High School Musical, Newsies, Hocus Pocus himself, Kenny Ortega. And if you're me, join us for a movie that's the worst Band-Aid on my soul now that the In the Heights movie musical has been delayed for another year. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Salsa.
Mucho money!
It's the event of the year, and I'm gonna be crowned the king of salsa. We are family, bro. Yeah.
Salsa, the motion picture, is hot.
I would describe that book report as mucho money.
It truly
Thank
was
you.
mucho money.
Thank you. I am very proud of it.
It had such a music to it that I found myself moving. I found my body moving. I found myself dry humping a car in a mechanic shop.
Now, before we get started, let's do a quick roll call. Casey Regan.
Hi, present. Oh, my God.
Greg Hansen.
Yes, I am here and excited.
And the Familia, Josh Roth.
Oh.
Family.
And I'm Jamie Kennedy. Mucho money.
Mucho money.
Mucho money. This is a tough movie for me to watch because of how closely it mirrored my life growing up.
Do tell, Casey, we're here for you.
Yeah, it's just that so much of my life, because of my wild, passionate blood, was about clearing the dance floor, was about proving something to myself, and was about keeping my hair both constantly wet and bouncy.
Oh, the hair in this movie.
This movie is so good.
Yes.
There's so much to talk about.
it opens with Rico humping a car. Am I remembering that correctly,
Yes,
or
correct.
did I hallucinate?
Yeah.
The first shot is of a car bumper, which I think sets the tone for the movie because this movie is all about bumper, baby.
Yeah. No, and it also, this movie's gonna rev your engine.
Ooh.
In LA fashion, it's bumper to bumper traffic.
Oh, wow.
Come on, Josh. No.
It was Grease Lightning meets the factory dance from Footloose. It was free, but it was choreographed.
The machine gun cuts right out the gate immediately, just like, like
This movie should come with an epilepsy warning.
Yeah, because they do use that a number of times.
It comes back.
The first scene, they're dancing in the mechanic shop. The boss does stop him, and I think I got a little sad how, like, on the boss's side I was. This is what growing up feels like, is when the boss comes in and is like, I've hired you to be a mechanic, not to dance. I'm like, yeah, he did.
We got customers.
And this is the only time we ever see him in the mechanic shop,
yes,
right?
But he works hard for the money.
He works hard to support his family this one time. And then never again in the film.
I love how, like, into it the boss is for half of the song and then immediately is like, what are you all doing? Get back to work. Get back to work.
He participates in the song and then berates them for dancing.
Yeah, that's because there was like a manager of a speedboat dealership on the other side of the counter, like waiting for his Buick to get fixed and just watching these kids sexually assault his vehicle.
Am I the only one who thought that they were setting up the boss to be the villain?
Yes.
Because
not at all. You were
he's such a dick. Like, he's got the good, like, villain mustache. Rico's like, I'm gonna be crowned the king of salsa. And the guy's like, you're gonna be crowned the king of bullshit. And I was...
Get your mind on your work, Rico, or you're gonna dance your way right out of here.
And I was like, whoa.
He was really mad. That was like the one hyper-realistic emotion in this movie.
Yeah. And really the only foil. Like, there are no real foils in this movie except for ego, sexuality, I guess.
It is a movie without a true villain, which is kind of interesting. And I thought, honestly, in that moment that he was going to be our villain, and then he never shows up again. They set him up.
But then they do it again with Lola in, like, the next couple of scenes. You're like, oh, she's gonna mess everything up. And arguably she does, but then she disappears completely.
Every character vanishes from this movie in succession.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got some real serious theories about what's going on in this movie. I don't know. I suspect that Rico's actually dead. I do think that this is a movie about a person who has died with an uncompleted hero's journey. And it's like he goes through a sort of Dante Alighieri-esque journey through.
Oh, that really enhances the movie for me.
An afterlife constructed for Rico where everyone loves him for some reason. Like, the entire town is dedicated towards the happiness of Rico. Everyone...
They love Rico almost as much as Rico loves Rico. Mm-hmm. And we're given no reason to like him.
Oh, he's a hottie.
Yeah, he's a hottie.
You gotta love a hottie.
Rico, to sort of paint a picture with our words, is played by a one Mr. Draco Robbie Rosa. Now, Draco Robbie Rosa, right before starring in this movie, was the first and only American-born member of Latin pop supergroup Menudo.
Oh, I did not read that part. Oh my god.
Wow.
This is so... Every person in this movie is amazing.
So he was like a superstar at this time. He was, Ricky Martin was the Justin Timberlake. Yeah. But... imagine, like, J.C. Chazé breaking off and, like, making a movie about everyone wanting to fuck him. And now that's all I can imagine. I want that movie so bad.
Context is key, yeah.
Rico is, like, a very, very sexy guy. Who also, by the way, Draco Robbie Rosa, born in 1970. This movie came out in 1988. So, like, he's 18 or less when this movie is being made.
Which I will point out, the woman who plays his sister is 24 in the movie.
And it shows.
Yeah. Wow!
In the first nightclub scene we get in the movie, Rico's there dancing. His sister Rita and her friend Lola come in. Rita hesitates. She says, I don't know if I should go in here.
Come on, girl. I don't know if we should be here. Besides, don't you have to be 18 to get in?
Leave that to me. You look 18.
I don't know.
Grow up. I don't believe you. Don't you know how to have fun?
Which in the 80s was enough. In the 80s, that was essentially law if you go by 80s movies. But then he was actually a child. Like in the actual reality, we are being sold this idea of like, look at this sexy fucking kid.
Yeah, more moisture on this guy. More moisture.
Yeah.
More moisture.
Bring out the spritzers!
Well, he started as a boy Udo and ended as a Menudo.
Shut up, Craig.
Oh!
I'm glad I make somebody laugh.
Yeah, so Robbie Rosa is like an international superstar.
I love that.
And also a boy. And also hot. And all of these things are troublesome to list.
Oh.
Because I spent a lot of this movie enjoying it and horny, but also most of my notes are just wondering, like, why does everyone love this guy?
Everyone loves Rico, and we get no...
And he's not a good person.
They don't show us a reason to like him.
There's that boy Rico I was telling you about. Talk about charisma. Leave him alone.
Don't let anyone jump on the stage.
Not just anyone. Sit down.
Well, I know why some people like him. They want to sleep with him.
Right.
Lola likes him because she wants to sleep with him. Luna likes him because she wants to sleep with him and she wants to dance in the spotlight again. Vicky likes him because she wants to sleep with him. Otherwise, why the hell does she keep coming back to this asshole?
Ken likes him because he wants to sleep with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
His mom likes him because she wants to sleep with him. That's it. That's the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry. I wanted to just do this regular, but my brain is only in a Rico is actually dead space. Do you guys want to go with me on this Rico's actually dead theory?
Yes. 100%, because it makes total sense.
This is why it's coming out of Rico's brain or being fed through Rico's brain. A person like him would assume that everyone in the world, they may have other side issues. Their biggest issue is they want to sleep with you.
Yes.
And the worst betrayed you can ever feel is when someone close to you wants to sleep with someone else.
And you know what? I feel like it's appropriate because this movie has the sexuality of a 16-year-old. It's all over the shirt groping. This
Dry humping everywhere.
Seriously, and everyone and everything.
Yes.
Rico's hero's journey is to rub the front of his body on every living and inanimate object.
They revolve around the Rico. I feel like as soon as we're not seeing them, they don't exist.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
They don't. They literally disappear. His supervisor and Lola being the key examples. Like, once they are no longer relevant to Rico, they're gone.
So we open on that scene in the garage. We all remember it. I think I'll remember it for the rest of my days. Rico and all of his friends and fellow mechanics are just like losing themselves to the music in the middle of a workday. And there's a moment where, again, one of those quick like machine gun cuts between a match cut shot, wide shot of the auto body shop, and it cuts between Rico dancing by himself in this sort of ethereal light, and same frame, but in place of Rico is everyone else in the mechanic shop. And I think what Boaz is trying to tell us is all of these people exist in Rico's head.
Well, it is mirrored later when he does the billboard dance to Puerto Rico. The flash cuts are used to utilize basically Rico's fantasy space. It's basically a way to travel into his mind and what he's thinking, what he's dreaming about in that moment.
Yes, and what I'm saying is what he's dreaming about is everyone. His fantasy is this entire movie. Now, I don't know if it's some sort of afterlife that was created for Rico, a simulation to keep Rico's sexiness trapped in a machine so that he can't sexually assault the rest of us, or if he is sort of experiencing some sort of like DMT release in the final moments.
Oh,
so this is Jacob's Ladder.
I was just gonna say, if we use the phrase Jacob's Ladder, how did this get made, will sue us for copyright infringement of bits.
No,
I'm sorry, Zooks, I'm sorry.
But unfortunately, it just fits so perfectly here. I don't know what should we call it instead?
Rico's Ladder?
Rico's Ladder, yeah. This is
the real Rico's Ladder situation.
The linchpin of my theory is that Puerto Rico equals ethereal heavenly salvation. And what he is going
He is
for
in some sort
that.
of Los Angeles limbo. I mean, frankly, LA is a kind of limbo.
Is truly a limbo.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. He's in LA limbo, which is another type of dance. I haven't developed this part of the theory, but they connect.
How low will you go?
Maybe he was also in whatever killed. Did they say what killed his father?
Nope.
They never did.
Nor do they show a picture of him.
Is Rico a manifestation of his father's intentions on Earth? Like, we know that his father wanted to go to Puerto Rico. Maybe
Right.
that's what this journey is.
Jamie, can I answer your question with a douchey question?
Yes.
Aren't we all projections of our father's intentions on us? Think about it.
So I have a theory, and it ties in. Can we talk about the interior of the club?
Yes, please.
Yes,
because that
please.
is honestly my aesthetic. The like sort of random neon chain link fence and dentist office, like clear blocky things. It's the perfect club. There's just enough people in it for it to be busy, but there's never a line to get your Pepsi at the bar. And there are 50s, like early 60s Chevys hoisted above people with their headlights being used to illuminate the dance floor.
It's
And
amazing.
I love that there is a car that is parked on a like piece of highway, elevated above the dance floor, in front of a sign that just reads freeway.
Freeway. Oh, yeah.
No, but this is the freeway of life. That's what you're getting
Oh!
on La Luna.
Or the highway to hell.
Oh my god, he died in a car accident on the highway.
Absolutely.
He drove off of the highway.
That's what I was going to say.
You are so right. He absolutely died or is dying over the course of this movie in a car accident. Maybe. Oh, no. Okay. So it's not a Jacob's Ladder. Here's what it was. All right. Rico, even on the outside world, was a sexy person. Maybe this is what happens to members of Menudo. So when they reach their peak sexuality, they are deemed a threat to the world. A means of taking them out of the world equation becomes necessary to the controlling body of the Menudo syndicate. And he is killed. They hired the same people who'd killed Princess Diana to organize a car accident. In which his father died.
This is the moments of his brain extending time as his car careens off the side of freeway, and his brain is compensating for erasing the car accident out of existence.
Is the car, when it drove off an overpass or something, is it careening into that billboard for TWA?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what
shit,
he's.
yes.
Okay.
What's great is his father always said they'd go back to Puerto Rico, and in his final moments, he's seeing Puerto Rico come at him at deadly speed. The problem is we can't know whether Rico has been killed or put into this catatonic state either by accident or by foul play. We'll never know. But what we can know for sure is he's definitely dead throughout this whole movie.
100%.
There's
end.
no
For
question.
final thoughts?
And I will say that I did do some research, and Menudo is actually part of the La Casa Nostra family of. It's a mafia. It's. Yeah, we'll cut that.
No, we won't.
It's tough to know now.
I saw how you were looking at him.
No, Ken is just like a brother to me.
Well, he's not your brother, and he doesn't look at you like a brother. That's for sure.
He doesn't?
Does Rico have a girlfriend?
Yes, sort of. Vicky. Wait a minute. I hope you don't have any plans. Rico's too old for you.
Are you kidding? I've had older than him before.
You're so crazy.
We just skip to school, and Lola and Rita are talking about boys in the locker room, and that's when we get the wonderful line.
Yeah, I know my brother, and Rico only likes two things, Rico and salsa.
And then we cut to Rico, who's talking about how he also has the hots for Lola. And then Ken says, she's just a baby, man. And Rico has the wonderful line, and I'm a babysitter.
Oh. God, that should be read in depositions.
Then we get the wonderful scene where Ken shows Lola the belt that he got Rico for his birthday, and they have some sexy talk about present wrapping.
We also, in that scene, we really start to get to know Ken, who is Rico's best friend and, like, toady. His job seems to be worshipping the ground that Rico stands on and facilitating situations where Rico can take advantage of women in side rooms. Like, this guy straight up Renfields for Rico.
Yeah, but he's also part of the familia. Like, when no one else would take Ken in, their family took Ken in. So he's like a brother to Rico.
Not a brother, more like a bro.
I guess you're right. Yes, fair.
It was the eyebrows. They were so comically dark. Like
he does have very, very distracting eyebrows.
Like a German expressionist movie. Like they just set him up like he's just like, okay, I'll go help your sister get the iced tea.
It's very Redfield.
I was convinced that eventually in the movie he'd sniff some of Rico's clothes. Like he's...
Well, it's a very Laurie and Little Women situation, I feel like. I'm not convinced that the reason Ken is attracted to Rita as much as he is because she's kind of this surrogate for his relationship with Rico. He knows he can't be with Rico, but if he's with Rita, that's basically the same thing. And I don't know if he's totally conscious of that, but there's definitely subtext.
How is this not just a movie entirely in the subconscious of Rico? Like, the fact that it's Rita and Rico, anyone who names their kids Rita and Rico should be in prison. That's just like an insane thing to do to your children. The fact that he is so protective of the virtue of his little sister to the point of physical abuse. Rita is the manifestation of his, I don't know, like inner feminine, of like the connection to one half of humanity within himself that he disregards so that he can do everything in his life. And like his like, so of course Ken wants to be with Rita because he wants to be with Rico, because in Rico's mind everyone wants to be with Rico. I'm going mad. I just can hear it in my own voice.
To be fair, he then also wants Ken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
totally.
Fully.
Ken walks into that scene and he says, I bought something for Rico. It's a belt. Do you think he'll flagellate me with it? He's like just so... They have nothing... Rita and Ken have nothing to talk about outside of Rico.
No. Nobody has anything to talk about outside of Rico.
Maybe I should get him a record or something.
No, this belt is great. I'd even borrow it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. Should I give it to him now or wait until the party?
No, I think you should wait till the party. Oh, and don't tell him there's gonna be more than just a few friends there.
Really?
Do you want me to wrap it for you?
Yeah, nothing too fancy.
Do you want it in a box?
When she said, "Do you want a box?" Like he looked like his fucking skull was gonna burst out of his face. Like he's
no,
just like,
I will say it's funny. It's like they are people without any inner conversation. They have no sense of themselves apart from Rico, so they have nothing to say. At the same time, their scene in the kitchen did read to me, though it did have, you know, that like box double entendre. His panic and awkwardness and her like awkwardness and not being at ease in her own sexuality. Like that was a scene that was honestly portraying what flirting in high school was like.
Yeah.
That I was actually very endeared to them in that scene. Like I did find myself cheering for Rita and Ken in the same way you cheer for like Johnny Five. I want to watch these automatons who have been given a central function, which is please and remain loyal to Rico. And they need to sort of evolve beyond it.
So then they ride their motorcycle past some backdrop footage.
John's supermarket and a liquor store.
Very Los Angeles. Up to the Pantages Theater. Oh, and that's when she's feeding him ice cream.
Yeah.
When they're riding the motorcycles.
yeah, I was gonna say that scene brought up a lot of questions about the safety and efficacy of riding a motorcycle while being smashed in the face with an ice cream cone.
She just is shoving it into his face, and he's not licking it. He's kind of like again, it's like an automaton that's been taught chewing. So he's just like sort
mouth
of moving.
food go in.
Right, exactly. He's just sort of moving his bottom jaw around as she sticks ice cream like on his face, and it's just all over his chin.
I think this just furthers the theory that this isn't reality.
Yes.
Guys, none of this is reality. It's a movie.
Jamie? How she was feeding him the ice cream did bring me back. Like, because it was just such basic, like, we're driving around town and we're falling in love silently without any sort of, like, human connection or quality.
Which is, again, their whole relationship. That's
Right.
what it boils down to. It's montage, montage, montage. We can't tell Rico. We can't tell Rico. We can't tell Rico. Rico knows.
How many times do you think the scene where one character's best friend is dating the other's sister and goes to tell him about it, and the other guy is like, well, I have to say something first, and says, something along the lines of like, I think my sister's seeing somebody and we got to figure out who it is and like beat him up.
Kick his
like,
ass.
What'd you have to say? Oh, nothing. Like, nothing.
Yeah.
It's
like,
a tale as old as time.
I wonder what the first movie to do that was. You think it was the Lumieres?
Oh, you know what? We should look into this.
But when he drops her off, he says,
I had a great time. Really? Yeah, I liked it mucho.
and then because this is a Spanish 101 lesson, Rita says, mucho gusto. And then the audience can repeat, mucho gusto. And then we've learned something.
Just to remind us how freaking white Ken is.
Just to remind us how weird.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The Spanish used in this movie entirely is Spanish 1 from high school. Like, there's literally a line where it's like, ¿Dónde está es problema, mijo? And you're like, what are these, like...
Yeah. Is this what happens when you get a couple, like, 60-year-old Israeli guys to make a sexy salsa movie?
I don't know. What do they say? Mucho money.
I like it,
We're
mucho.
gonna make mucho money from this movie, guys. Mucho money.
All right, I'll let you guys do that part. But she walks towards the house, and then she doubles back and gives Ken a kiss. Good night. And in that moment when she gives him a kiss, they are lit by headlights that drive by. That wasn't like a setting decision that was just running. That was a decision for that moment.
It was the final thing that Rico saw.
Yeah.
Was headlights coming towards him.
Well, oh my God. Yes, Josh. Okay, so in this moment where if let's go on one of our threads that this is like the DMT in Rico's brain being released as he and his father are careening off a road in a car. He's seeing something lit by headlights in his final moments, and his brain, in its like death spiral panic, is projecting his worst fear, which is his friend and sister
and his
having
sister.
a life outside of him, which is really Rico's worst fear, is that any part of reality would have to do with something that isn't Rico. And there isn't a lot of reality outside of Rico in this movie.
And all of it that is monotonous.
Monotonous. It's either monotonous. It either takes place in a girls' locker room, which is I'm sure
Makes sense.
I'm sure in Rico's subconscious often.
It takes place in the 18-year-old's idea of a girls' locker room.
Lots of bras, lots of exposition via bras.
Exposition.
Exposition.
Right. Oh my God. Guys, the ring. The ring is the ring is the linchpin of my entire theory. I know there's been a few linchpins.
Do tell. We're basically at that point.
We are actually.
But the ring is what like really made me think we cannot possibly be in reality. Because Vicky, Rico's on again, off again serious girlfriend when he's not rubbing himself on minors, is she comes up to him and says, I got you a gift for his birthday. His birthday is the next day. And she gives him a ring, which at first, he seems hesitant in that way that, at least for me, read like he's
commitment.
Yeah, exactly. He's like
Yeah.
a guy character who's afraid of commitment, and then he immediately
It does
says,
have like a moment where you look at it and it is like in the flip up case
Right.
that you would present someone with an engagement ring.
Right, but then what happens immediately is he says, actually, I got something for you too. And he reaches behind him into just, I don't know, the ether and pulls out a box with rings in it for her, essentially the same exact gift.
Identical. And she tries to put it on her. Yes!
Yes. When I so that I was always like, okay, this scene's nuts. Then she tries to put it on her ring finger, and it doesn't fit on her ring finger. So he says, no, like this, and he puts it on her thumb. It doesn't fit on her ring finger, but it fits on her thumb. Oh, the widest finger of all the fingers. This cannot take place in reality.
He saw the ring, manifested his own ring.
Right, which has the magical ability to assure it is not for commitment purposes. This is not the ring that signifies we're together forever. It magically can't fit on that finger, but it will fit on any other finger.
It is incapable of creating commitment.
Right. That's when I knew. This is a universe built for Rico, whether built by a friend or a foe, we may never know. So I feel like we have done a bit of a disservice in that we blew right by Lola.
Ooh. So does the movie.
Hi, Lola.
Hi.
But, okay, and I know I'm mixing a lot of metaphors, but in this Matrix-type simulation that Rico is plugged into,
okay.
Lola might be the Agent Smith. Greg, you thought the boss was going to be a villain. He is the one voice at the beginning of this movie of like, don't follow your dreams, get serious, and he totally disappears. Then there's Ken and Rita. They are only antagonistic to Rico insofar as they harm his ego by just existing, by not doing anything. And Luna, the queen of salsa, she is using Rico, but she is always pretty straightforward about that and also just disappears when she is no longer a threat. Lola is the one character who like she breaks a bit out of the simulation and like fucks his life up.
Multiple times.
That's a good point. She is the agent of chaos.
So Lola is Rita's best friend. I mean, also worst enemy. I don't know. It's a thin line in high school between best friend and worst enemy. She expresses in the first scene, second scene, and third scene that she would like to sleep with Rico. And then by the fourth scene, Rico is making a move on Lola. Very aggressively.
He almost took off her zipper swimsuit bra.
Yeah. She zipped it like 1 centimeter down, and oh, buddy.
Guys, oh boy, you know what I mean?
Again, he tells Ken to like take care of his sister, like keep my sister out of this. I'm gonna go fucking pork her friend.
You got this? Cool.
You got this? Cool. Because
don't sleep with my sister. It's fine.
In Rico's aware mind, Ken is like a safe friend, and in his subconscious mind that has a needle in the back of his medulla oblongata and is feeding information into some like eldritch machinery, he has banished his weak self away.
Ken is Weeko.
Ken is Weeko. Ken is Weeko. Ken is totally beta. And Rita is a reminder that, like, women are human beings. And he needs both of them to go away so he can sleep with Lola.
That's like opening up the curtain to reveal a mirror to give yourself a wink when you're humping a girl.
A wink? He blows himself a kiss.
He blows himself a kiss.
That was the look of a man who in his future life is going to remove a rib so that he can S his own D, you know?
And that scene, it was pretty hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty, when Rico takes Lola.
Was that when his jeans just like magically got unbuckled while he was dancing? Because
Totally.
I was like, damn.
Oh, I missed that. The power of dance unbuckled his jeans.
Yeah.
I want to just mention how much I love Rico's like Hey Arnold room.
Yeah.
Where he has like
the garagement.
Yeah, the like lofted bed, fish tank and a great view.
Also, a flip a switch and fucking lights go on a disco ball. Like, I was like, Rico, you fucking legend, bro. That's a deal sealer. I don't care who you are.
But I will say the movie was a very hard PG.
Yes.
But the movie is over the shirt exclusive.
Right.
Yes.
We're making fire, but we only feel a little heat.
Yeah.
There was one when Rita and Ken come home and you just see the door closing and it rack focuses to their mom praying in the other room. Like, that's the first time you actually know sex is happening. But what I appreciate is, besides Rico's, toxic masculinity, like basically calling his sister a whore for feeding into the same things he does, a lot of it is kind of just sex positive as well, even though it's all over the shirt. I loved when the mom was having the conversation with Rita where she's like, I'm not gonna ask you any questions because I trust you. You just should have called. And it's like, damn, this mom's great.
She's a good mom.
Yeah.
She's a good mom, except for at the party where a drunk minor falls into the table of presents, and they're just like, all right, nobody pay attention to any of that. Like, let's dance. Come on, let's keep playing.
This is the 80s in Los Angeles. Vietnam is over, and 16-year-olds can drink, Greg. That's just what's happening.
Oh, a time to be alive.
So Lola, more than any other character, she has been taken into this world of excitement and Rico danger, and when he refocuses back on his life with Vicky, she begins a, albeit short-lived but effective campaign to ruin Rico's life. And I found myself cheering for her.
Exactly, agreed.
It's the only thing that is even remotely close to conflict.
Yeah, so the birthday party happened.
Silencio, everybody. Rico's here. Please, everybody. Come on, girl.
Come on, then tell me what we're doing. Come on.
Happy birthday, mijo.
All of East Los Angeles seems to have come out to celebrate the birth of their god king, Rico. Again, I found myself wondering, like, why does everyone love this guy so much? And all I can think is it's some sort of, like, it's gotta be a pheromone thing. Like, it's gotta be just because he's rubbed himself on everything in the world. Like, his pheromone so surrounds all of East Los Angeles that, like, they can't help but be drawn to him.
The best is when Lola pushes her dancing partner out of the way, pushes Vicky out of the way, pulls Rico in, and just blows up his spot making out with him, which I thought was the best power move I've ever seen.
Lola's bad. Lola's fucking bad, man. Then the cake comes because the simulation, whoever's running Rico's simulation, they can't have him question too much of reality. So in one moment, there seems to be some conflict in his life. So the overlords, the overseers are like, give him a cake, distract him. Happy birthday.
Shove a cake into his face.
I was just tickled by Lola pushing Vicky's buttons and Vicky just hauling off and socking her right in the face, right into all of the presents. And like, that was like a moment, they really choreographed that one punch super well.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the quip.
Vicky, what's wrong?
It's time you open your birthday presents.
One of the best in movie history. Like, it's like felt so apart from this movie because Vicky really gets rolled over this entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
She is so... I mean, I think we're maybe not beating around the bush, but this movie doesn't seem to have the healthiest philosophy about, like, women.
What? What? Come on.
Which is funny for a movie ostensibly made for women. This is a movie about hot, writhing, sweaty men. In 1988, this was like Housewife Central.
Is it just the, like, paperback dime store novel effect? Is this not
Yes.
like they're trying to 50 Shades of Grey? Like, look at this person who's so hot and so unattainable, and he'll treat you awful, don't you love it?
Because if you make the women as, like, two-dimensional as possible, it makes it a lot easier for women to project onto them.
That's why Lola, to me, she is the Agent Smith. She's like the Iago of the story, because she is the one who lifts the veil from the eyes of all the other people who are trapped in Rico's orbit. She's the one who like tells Rita like, hey, the way Ken looks at you, it's not like a brother. She is the one who gets Vicky so impassioned that she would lash out, which she never stands up for herself ever again. She is the one who throws Rico's life into any sort of uncertainty. Like, she is very much a like ghost in the machine of this constructed world. And while she is eventually wiped out of the program by the overseers, whoever they may be, she does like the most damage. And then she actually, you know what? Her last scene is after she gets punched into the table of gifts. Rico like takes her upstairs to the bathroom because she's drunk, and then she rapes him?
Yes.
She's throwing herself on him. And then Ken, like, Rico is saying, stop, I don't want this, stop. And then Ken, like, looks into the bathroom, sees that happening. See his friend being his best friend, his familia, his reason for being. Being sexually taken advantage of in a bathroom.
But he wasn't listening, he was only watching. Like, he took away from it that, like, Rico wanted this. That's why he lies to Rita to say that Lola's not in there.
But yeah, Ken just shuts the door. He sees something, whether it's, look, I think it would be safe for Ken to assume that Rico was the one sexually abusing Lola. But in that scene, we know that Lola's taking advantage of Rico, and Rico's saying, stop. Lola out Rico's Rico. Lola, that's her last scene. Her scenes are, she wants Rico. She, like, mixes up Rico's entire life, sends Rita towards Ken, disconnects Rico from Vicky. She does all this, and then against his will, she takes sexual satisfaction from him. And then she's gone from the movie. Yeah. She is the quote-unquote villain, or hero, who, like, wins, who beats Rico. But because this world is created for Rico, she is then just taken out of the equation, and the rest of the movie has nothing at all
She's
to do
not even
with it.
mentioned. She is gone.
Yep.
She is gone.
She is erased from existence.
Well, and she's also replaced as best friend with Ken for Rita.
Because this isn't real. This is all for Rico.
Wait. I will say we've skipped over a crucial scene.
Yes.
Which we can't. The scene where Rico goes to Vicky's house and they're talking about the competition, and Rico is very sort of one-minded about the fact that they are going to win and they're going to Puerto Rico. And Vicky's like, how do you know? And he goes, because my dead dad said it.
And now he feels so close. He's hugging us. He's happy we're together again. We're gonna clear that floor. We're going to Puerto Rico.
It's just putting so much pressure on this already on again, off again relationship. And she's like, I am not a good dancer. She's basically like, I suck and I do not feel good about this. And he's just like, no, it's cool. If we lose, then my dead dad was wrong. It's pretty.
Yeah. But then she asks, like, does he tell you anything else? Does he tell you about, like, our future, about our family?
Well, he says we'll have two, well, maybe no, maybe we'll have five. 5 kids, they're all gonna dance. They're all gonna dance. They're gonna go on tour, make lots of money, make a lot of people happy. And then we'll retire in Puerto Rico.
You have a one-track mind.
Like, he's building his own Menudo. He wants to... That is why you have to geld and trap their members when they get too sexy, because they'll spawn their own Menudos. Right, the central Menudo will break apart.
Then he has his dream sequence of them dancing on the billboard outside of her apartment.
The minute they established the billboard with the beach behind, it was like, I found myself thinking, like, oh my god, please dance on that. Like, this movie must dance on that.
Oh, and boy, do they.
He is lecherous in that he is going after everyone, but yet never in the movie seems to seal the deal. The scene with Vicky on her porch, where she, like, obviously wants to bone him, but instead he stays outside and has, like, a dance fantasy on the billboard. He literally tells Vicky to like go inside and make him something to eat. And then he like has this dance fantasy with her at one point, being literally led around by his dick. She like just grabs his dick and pulls him across the billboard.
Yeah, I didn't miss that.
Like a divining rod.
Yeah. She like comes walking back out and she goes, "What are you doing up there?" And he is totally dressed because during this dance sequence his shirt was off because this movie knows what the fuck it is. Then they cut away. That scene could have easily been like she's going inside to make something to eat, and he like wistfully thinks about his father and his life, and he walks down to the billboard and he climbs out, and she comes up and is like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Come up here," and then they dance together.
Right.
But they chose to edit it so that the dance sequence looked like a fantasy, which maybe to service the story in that they didn't want to have a whole scene where Vicky's like, "I'm a bad dancer," then show her dance.
Really
Great.
well.
Yeah. Or I don't know why make that scene a fantasy and not real?
Rico only cares about Rico. So even though he's being told consistently like, "Hey, I won't help you go over the finish line for this thing," he's not listening to her. He's only seeing what could be, and he's imagining this perfect future for the both of them.
It sort of supports his like solipsistic universe that he's trapped in, which is like, if that scene was edited in such a way where they together dance, it would be the Vicky character having like a place in this world. It would be, it would like,
as opposed to his vision of Vicky.
Right.
Which is then,
it would show that she still has some sort of like onus over her own self instead of it being completely manufactured inside of his subconscious.
To be fair, the movie is pretty consistent, though, about the music and the dancing being diegetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's never not, really, except for in where it sets it up as a fantasy, which is this.
It otherwise is completely diegetic.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time there's always a band.
This movie is wall-to-wall music. I don't know if there's a second of non-music in this movie.
The thing is, all music in this plays as source, but it sounds like score is the thing. So there's never any treatment on it. Like, so when they're dancing in the first scene and the mechanics off it, like, I honestly thought it was a fantasy sequence until they turn off the radio. There's no treatment on anything that makes you think like, yeah, this is playing naturally in a world like it's supposed to be.
Well, they're trying to sell that OST, baby, official soundtrack.
Yep.
It's because this isn't a natural world. This is a world where the lines between reality and fantasy are completely blurred. There is no natural world here.
That is called a dance movie.
Okay. All right. Extending the theory, all musicals and dance movies are
in the Matrix.
Are the Matrix. This movie is very sparse in its use of close-ups. It is almost like never...
Which is how you should do a dance movie, honestly.
Right,
like,
totally.
They did it right.
Almost never punch-ins to, like, sell any action. Ever. And there are rare singles of people. And every time there is, because my brain is, like, soaking in this Rico's actually dead theory, they look just like ghosts. Like, they looked like it seemed we were suddenly had to stare another person in the face, and they looked terrible because that's how Rico views them. The one exception is during the, like, montages of Rita and Ken falling in love, their close-ups, they look very good. That's because they are aspects of Rico's psyche, so they are also beautiful. Yet, I will watch, like, MOS 80s faces laughing bemusedly for, like, I'd watch a whole movie of that.
It's like a Mentos commercial.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Ken and Rico, we're coming up on the confrontation, the only other confrontation in the movie besides Lola, when Ken shows up at Rico/Rita's house. And they're like, all right, Rita's worried that they're going to get caught. And he's like, no, don't worry. Rico's at the club. He finds Ken and Rita kissing in the driveway.
Rico, we weren't doing anything.
Just shut up and get in the house. It's not her fault, Rico. Don't touch my sister. I love her, man. You love her ass. That's not it, bro. Don't call me bro, man. It's been you all this time, huh? You dumb Puerto Rican. You just don't get it.
The first play is to throw a racial slur at your best friend instead of, like, talking it out. Because I found that maybe not the best opening move for Ken. In West Side Story, you didn't have Tony walking up to Bernardo being like, "You stupid Puerto Rican, you just don't get it." Like,
no, in West Side Story, they sing that.
They do.
they slam home. They say Puerto Rico or Puerto Rican no less than 40 times. Like if you made a drinking game, you would die.
I think this movie is the reason why Puerto Rico's not yet a state. Like no, this movie is a blight on Puerto Rico's history.
Also, what this movie has in dance choreography, it lacks in fight choreography.
Kung Fu Rascals, this is not.
No, this is. There was some awkward long shots of just guys kind of like being on top of each other and Rita yelling, "You kill him! You kill him!"
Yeah, so quickly. He gets hit once and she immediately jumps to, "You'll kill him!" And I was like, are we there yet? Like, I think it takes a few more hits usually.
Yeah. This is a question of like what makes good fight choreography. And to know the fighting wasn't impressive, but like that fight rang true to every like suburban douchebag fight I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
A racial slur is thrown out at the beginning to open the proceedings.
Act 1.
There's a lot of rolling around in the dirt without a lot of hits being thrown, landed, anything. And then there's someone shrieking. Like that was a very honest fight to me.
And then Rico presumably takes Ken's necklace of indeterminate importance that we have never seen before. He rips this necklace off of him and then like shoos him away, and you're not part of the familia anymore.
It is then followed up an indeterminate amount of time later with a conversation mainly consisting of the word bro and man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you reminded me of something. I'm so sorry, guys. Do you guys mind if I do a little? I have to like record a self-tape for an audition right now.
Ooh.
Do you guys mind if I do that?
I don't know if this is a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you gotta do it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just give myself a slate. Casey Regan, 6'1", brown hair, brown eyes. I'm going to be performing a monologue from Monologues for Actors Without Charisma. You remember when we got these? We were just kids. Summer vacation. We wanted to be blood brothers, but I was afraid of blood. So I bought us the St. Christopher medals instead. Who would ever think that after all these years we'd still be wearing them? You know, even when you ripped this off my neck, you didn't rip it out of me, bro. I know you don't think of me like that anymore, but you're my bro. You're the only family I've ever had. I know I hurt you, man, and I'm sorry. Just know, I'd do anything for the familia. Just know, I love you, man. Thank you very much.
Can you try that again? Can you emphasize bro a little heavier?
Would that have been funnier if I did it in a British accent?
So just before that scene is when Rita gets bumped by another car. Very gently.
It's the dumbest car crash in the world.
And ends up in the friggin' hospital.
She's very lucky. They hit going a hot 25 miles an hour.
And then Ken goes to the hospital to see Rita, and he wore his biggest jacket.
Like, he's wearing a suit that looks like he was like a person who got tummy tuck surgery. And this is afterwards, but he's still wearing his clothes from before.
His clothes are like that throughout the movie.
Was he auditioning for Stop Making Sense at this point?
But first the doctor says, are you Ken? She keeps asking for Ken, to which makes Rico storm off. And then when Ken goes into the hospital, Rita goes, where's Rico? And it's like, well, you weren't asking for Rico. You were asking for Ken.
And then she follows it up with, he's going to go do something crazy. I know my brother. He's going to do something crazy. We have to find him. His crazy thing is to go to Vicky's place and sit outside of her apartment until she comes home?
Yep.
Crazy,
man.
Crazy.
Well, it is crazy for Rico. It's very out of character for him to
to go anywhere else.
For him to give a shit about another person. Because yes, Rita is in a very seemingly inconsequential car accident. But remember, Rico's brain is currently experiencing a deadly car accident.
Oh, yeah.
It all clicks.
So it needs to threaten these aspects of his better nature so that he can go oh, right, it's all tenuous. And then he grows. And then loses again when he goes on a salsa bender. Straight up salsa bender.
Salsa bender.
Is there ever a line? I don't remember a line or any sort of nod to I'm glad my sister's with a good person.
No,
it's just Ken begging him for forgiveness with his necklace, and then that's the end of it.
He does say he'll replace the chain.
Yeah, and he's gonna get a stronger chain.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Deep. Weave throughout this story that we've been talking about is the aspirations of Luna and her husband Orlando, who are Rico's idea of success.
And adults.
He did say he was going to be the king of salsa, and she is the queen of salsa. So.
Oh, that kid's fantastic. I love the way he handles her on the floor. He makes her look good. He doesn't have any talent. She reminds me of a horse.
What are you saying?
That he would make a hell of a partner for a woman who really knows what she's doing.
So what are you telling me? Are you saying that you want to dance again? Or that you want to go to Puerto Rico? Or that you want to sleep with this kid?
That's what I love about you, darling. You fill my head with so many wonderful ideas.
Rico is a wholly selfish character who acts out of passion. Everyone else is just NPCs in his world. And then there are these two schemers. Luna knows that if she dances with Rico in this dance competition
that she's running.
That
she's
running.
The club she owns.
Yeah, she owns that club.
That she, with the help of Rico, will clear the floor.
My favorite part of the whole movie is Luna's husband, Orlando, who looks like Crispin Glover cosplaying Vince Vega.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he's just he's only there. He's honestly kind of like this weird Virgil character, if we're gonna go with this Dante metaphor, where he's the whole time just so what are you gonna do? You gonna let this little bitch get in the way?
Orlando's whispering in Vicky's ear, I love her. I love my wife so much that I don't stand in her way. Why are you standing in his way if you love it? Like such a master manipulator.
So good.
I know, it was awesome. I have a question for the group.
Yes.
What exactly were the rules of this salsa competition?
Oh, God!
The goal of the salsa competition that we get throughout the whole movie is that he needs to clear the floor.
Yeah.
It's not it's a 8-hour dance competition. You have to dance for the full 8. It's not there will be judges who will give scores to couples.
Just clear the floor.
It is just dance so well that everyone pays attention to you, which is what Rico does in every scene anyway.
Right. He's not actually great at ballroom quality salsa. He's really just really energetic and
he definitely lost that competition.
Yeah,
right?
He definitely lost the competition because they're we have it, and he's like, joke's on you, bitch, I gotta be free.
Yeah, this movie seems to posit that a major part of salsa dancing competitively is just spazzing out every once in a while.
Whoa, is it not?
Clearly you've never seen Salsa.
and again, there's no stakes because, like, it's not even like he needs to go to Puerto. It's just like, here's an all-inclusive trip to Puerto Rico. And he's like, that'd be cool.
With no details behind it, no strings attached. It's just
Couldn't she just afford a trip herself? Like,
right.
It's not about the trip. It's about her being the queen of salsa once more.
Right, because ostensibly she's the one like financing this trip to Puerto Rico.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought the last dance sequence was excellent.
Oh.
I thought the shot where the camera is spinning around Rico and Luna as they themselves spun around for like a solid uninterrupted minute was genius.
This is really when Kenny Ortega like earns his paycheck and you see like the pedigree of this man.
That was rad. And the dancing in this movie was like fun. It never felt I never found myself like checking my phone or rolling my eyes during dance sequences.
They were riveting.
I felt like this movie had such a vibrance and energy where, like, of course the script and the plot elements feel very shoehorned. It's like a Busby Berkeley musical where they're like, we got the songs, like, let's write something around it. Okay, kid, let's go. But despite that, it still had so much fun. And maybe my favorite shot in the whole movie is the moment where Rico is maybe the most emasculated, where they're dancing and he's sort of on the ground and the fringe from her dress is slow motion slapping him in the face.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Death of a Thousand Cuts.
Oh, and that's when he breaks. That's when he's like,
I gotta be me.
Yeah.
I gotta be me. And so Rico, determined to learn 0 lessons in this movie, doesn't even learn salsa dancing is about dancing with a partner.
He drops to one knee, which she said earlier, I hate when you drop to one knee. That's not salsa, that's showboating. This whole time he's been like being the good salsa partner and letting her shine and being a giving lover, basically. And then just when she thinks, we've got this, we're gonna clear the floor, he drops to one knee, and that's where the dramatic push-ins come in, because she's like, oh no, I can't tame him.
And then we get those dramatic push-ins, which is the first time, and some more serious epilepsy editing.
At the end of this movie, Rico really learns, like, I feel like Rico's takeaway is, why dance with one person when you can fuck an entire crowd of people, when you can fuck all of East LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is his improvising, and then he does clear the floor, and then Vicky from across the room gives him a thumbs up with the ring.
When Vicky comes back to win Rico at the end, she shows up in her best bra and bath mat.
And that's when he's, dancing the entire crowd.
So did he win or did he not win? Uncertain.
Is there winning?
There is no winning. This is Dante. There is no winning.
Is the salvation of Puerto Rico a dream, an opiate, something we tell ourselves so that we can fall asleep at night? You might as well be screaming to the heavens like, why, God, have you made me this way? Who is testing me?
I think Puerto Rico's been inside Rico the whole time.
He is Mr. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico was the people we fucked along the way.
Yeah, Puerto Rico is the people you dry hump along the way. Absolutely. Think, 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 the rip-off report card. Mucho money!
The Salsa the Motion Picture Rip-Off Report Card is brought to you by Canon Film's newest podcast, Cinema Middle School, where 4 moderately funny friends talk about some movies every few weeks. Director Boaz Davidson has a name you can't forget and a filmography that reads like a list of extermination services. Spiders, rats, and raging sharks are both personal fears of mine and some of the titles of Mr. Davidson's films. This shouldn't be surprising from a man whose name sounds like a bunch of snakes stacked atop each other in a trench coat trying to pass as human. Not one to let a good idea be unwrung. He also produced Den of Lions and Larva, So whatever makes you squirm at night, there's a movie that exploits it. What if hybrid people slimy things creep you out? Well, he's also made Shark Man, Snake Man, and Man-Skeeto. He also produced the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man.
Oh!
And something called When Nietzsche Wept. As director, he gave us the RoboCop-inspired American Cyborg Steel Warrior, and a movie that I now need to own called Lunar Cop. So Boaz, you're an inspiration to us all. A+ work.
Oh my god, Lunar Cop.
While we can't accurately grade the canon heads Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus, as their output is often the comparison for how we'd grade others. But any discussion of a canon movie can't be finished without a little chit-chat about these monoliths. To stay on topic, they produced one of the first modern dance craze flicks, Breakin', which could possibly be thought of as sort of a Saturday Night Fever ripoff. But either way, it led the groundwork for canon to rip off their own work for the next decade. They, of course, made the promised Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, but also offered up the similarly apostrophed Rappin', and after Salsa, the next logical Latin dance craze, Lambada. In 1988 alone, they released 19 movies that ranged from the classic Bloodsport to the not-so-classic Albert Pune's Journey to the Center of the Earth. Life would honestly be much worse without canon, so we'll just leave it at that.
We have to do, there's got to be a lot more Golden Globus.
Oh, we could do a runner Golden Globus.
Yeah.
I will say a quick aside about Miranda Garrison, who played the Wicked Luna, who's mostly known as a choreographer with usually like bit parts in other movies. But after doing Salsa, she worked on The Forbidden Dance, which is the other Lambada movie not produced by canon. Ouch, Miranda. Way to stab us right in the back. Very few other people in the movie made a lot.
Except for Kenny Ortega.
Yeah,
and
right.
he gets an A+.
Well, he's not a rip-off. The thing with, like, you can't roast Kenny Ortega. He's unimpeachable. And he also didn't really make a lot of rip-offs. He was more of a trailblazer. Like,
he's an auteur.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny how this movie is almost like a step down based on his lineage, like where he was like his star was rising. He did Xanadu, he did Pretty in Pink, he did Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he did Dirty Dancing, and then he did Salsa. The canon guys must have been like, okay, how much will it take? And he threw out like a huge number, and they're like, all right, back up the dump truck full of money onto his lawn. And he was like, all right, I guess I'm doing Salsa the motion picture, whatever.
He has brought us into so many child locker rooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dink 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 rip off report card. As always, class, do we feel ready to talk about our final thoughts? What from Salsa might find its way onto that final test?
I think what we really learned was you can dance your cares away. The 80s were wonderfully insane. And Kenny Ortega is a national treasure that should be cherished by all of us.
Dance movies as a whole and as a genre have such thin stakes usually already. Like, it's usually about self-expression. It's usually about using the power of dance to, like, unite people, fall in love, rise yourself above your social standing. And, like, it's always a stretch. No more so than in this movie, which is just, again, the thinnest of stakes. But I was along for the entire ride because with some good choreography and some mediocre to great music, like, I'll follow any boring person's hero's journey.
My takeaway is the world is your dance floor if you believe in yourself and have great hair. And I learned to fly TWA.
Anybody else really want a Pepsi?
I've been sitting here thinking, I've been alternating between a few. Like, I see a lot of the Seventh Seal in this movie. I see a lot of 8.5 in this movie, but what would pair best with Salsa, the motion picture?
Chips.
Oh, damn it! Damn it! I was going for it too.
This is why I married you.
That was such an alley-oop, and I missed it.
That's the bell for this week, but thank you so much for listening to Video High and this week's episode, Salsa. Thank you so much to Mr. Philip Marlowe, our teacher, Seth Applebaum of Ghost Funk Orchestra, and Gabriella Tessitore of Scout Harris for the theme music. Thanks to Justin Ferrero of the Rizzos for bed music and sound mixing. Thanks to Ann Shearer for our logo. And the entire Video High crew, Greg Hansen, Josh Roth, Casey Regan, and me, Jamie Kennedy. Next episode's movie will be Droid Gunner / Cyberzone. That's not the entire title, it's just known by 2 different titles if you look it up. Be sure to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next period.
Conga! It's not the conga!
Don't sue us! It's not the conga!
Up in your ears. Podcast Network.